Hi, people! It's the world's probably most hated Demi Queen back with another video. So, what are we doing this time? Well, since you're probably noticing the background footage, any veterans of the channel, I mean, I know most of you aren't. Most of you probably came in either for the schizo video or for the Japanese video. So, yeah, you probably don't know. But there's a thing I like to do on my channel, rant videos. These are basically little playgrounds where I just put some background footage. I think I decided that for this video it was gonna be like Bakugan battles to fit the theme. So yes, if you haven't guessed, this is kind of like my podcast style thing, but without the interesting guests and well-researched shit. And with probably a lot more swearing. To ramble and I don't have to edit. That's the fun part. I don't know why I'm telling you this, honestly. As always, we have the coffee. I meant, fuck. I keep saying that. No, I think no. That's going down the count. By the way, that's 3 times now in the more recent videos where I've misspoken and called tea coffee. So yeah. So tea. I mean tea. We've got a cup of tea. Because it helps with my voice. It's what keeps my voice high. Because without it, my puberty would fully take over, and it's already much. I mean, the great thing about these videos, I don't even really have to care. The main topic of this video is Bakugan, but fuck it, I might as well just do a bit of ranting just in general. Yeah. Gender dysphoria be a bitch, huh? Oh god, I doubt there's really any trans people in my audience. It's still 100% males, so none of you probably really get it. But it's like, my voice, unfortunately I was born as a male, if you couldn't guess from the other videos, from like the videos before I came out. And fun fact, I don't think I've ever gone into this, but I used to actually be very self-conscious about, like, I used to have a really girly voice. I mean, I still do. I can do it very convincingly still, even if it's a lot harder now. But I used to be really embarrassed by it. So I used to drink fuck tons of coffee before and during recordings. The whole reason why I started doing that was to help make my voice deeper so that I could do the hi guys. I can't even really do it now. I've kind of lost it because I haven't done it for a while, but you know what I mean. You've watched the old videos. I mean, most of you probably haven't, but yeah, you know, so that I could do the intro and I could do that voice. Yeah. And my voice is getting deeper a lot now. Nearly 18, so boy oh boy, is this a fun time for existential dread. You know, like, if I could best describe how it feels, I would describe it like, imagine if you knew that a meteorite was going to strike the world in, I don't know, 24 hours, but nobody believed you. Nobody, you know, nobody believes you, and nobody gives a fuck. And like, sure, there's a few people who like try and calm you down when you have a panic attack, but like, other than that, really, you're kind of just on your own, and you sort of constantly have these like out of body experiences. That's kind of what it feels like. You know, it's kind of like, it feels like I'm running out of time, right? It feels like I'm in a sort of like a video game, and it's sort of like the build up to the final boss fight, and like, you know, you got the fucking like 10-minute timer, and it seems like the game is just throwing like everything at you. It's throwing the fucking shit sink toilet at you. It's throwing fucking skibbity toilet at you to stop you from getting there before the timer runs out. Yeah, I mean, that's what I like. I guess, although one thing that has been helping is, anybody who does have, like, trans friends or something, or even if you're, like, trans mask or something, you probably know of what I'm about to, talk about. I recently got myself a blahor. I recently got myself a blahor. They're very cute. Only 60 centimeters. I didn't get, like, the really big one. Yeah, I didn't really need a really, really big one. But, you know, they help. I get to snuggle them. If you don't know what a blahor is basically, it's just a shark that, like, became a meme in the trans community. And it's like a plushie. Very cute. I like him. Them. She. I don't really care. Yeah, I think that's basically all the life updates. I think I forgot to tell you guys, 1,000 hours plus in Hoi 4 now. Yes, I'm officially a 1,000 hour plus gal. I'm now fully addicted to Hoi 4. I play Hoi 4 on average like 40 hours a week, I think. Because I now do TFB games once every other week. I do the games with the tryhard party once a week. And then I have, like, sort of a subgroup that I play with, which is sort of a mixture of the two groups, that we play Kaiser Redux with. And obviously, sometimes I play for videos. I'm hoping to make a Hoi 4 multiplayer video. I just have to sort of... See, this is the thing, right? You might not guess it from my content, but I am one of the most socially anxious people ever. Like, genuinely, fun fact, right? Fun fact, I was edging joining the tryhard party for fucking months, right? I was, like, sitting on it with the Discord invite, and I was like, I don't want to join, they'll laugh at me, they'll make fun of me, you know, and, you know, they'll be lewd, and I'll suck dick, and you know, and luckily enough, it didn't turn out like that. But yeah, I was, you know, so I'm really socially anxious. I mean, I've gotten better on Discord now. Like, I'm on pretty much all the time. I always have my notifications on. I still don't think my channel's big enough to do, like, a community Discord server yet. You know, where we could run, like, Hoi 4 games from. So the Hoi 4 MP video would probably be with the subgroup, or maybe with the TFB people. I don't know. I'll have to get round to asking them whenever I don't feel like a socially anxious wreck that wants to ram their head through a window and fucking cannonball into Las Vegas. Yeah, I think that's it for the sort of, like, life updates. Yeah, thanks a lot for the reception on the Victoria 2 video. I'm gonna give y'all a spoiler, okay? I know I was, like, really, really doomer at the end of that video, but okay, let me give you just a little bit of a spoiler. Just a little bit of a spoiler. Ooh. Fuck, I've lost it. No, I haven't. I know what it is. I'm gonna be doing another one. Yeah, I can hear you all whooping and crying of laughter. Yes, I am gonna be returning to Sokoto. I guess you could call it. Oh fuck, my fucking Discord. Oh my fucking god, what's going on Discord? I don't know. I can't be bothered to check, or can I? No, I can't. God, that just went. Giggity giggity. God, this is brain rot already. Okay, I might as well just start talking about it. I'm getting lost. Bakugan. So if you've been here since the first video, which I doubt any of you watching this have, I started out. Honestly, if you've seen the tier list, please go watch the birthday video, by the way. It's like, if you really want to get, like, if you don't want to bother watching my old content that has, like, zero editing and. Just watch the tier list. I think I'll give a pretty detailed breakdown of most videos, at least the videos where it's important. Um, the first two definitely probably some of the funniest videos on my channel to this day. I won't really get into why. Just go watch the tier list video. Like, I don't know why you wanna. Why do you want me to go? Why am I imagining you guys wanting me something? Is this something every other YouTuber does, or am I just like? Am I the only like no who like no balls, like no fucks given, actually like roleplay out fake videos that you know you're never gonna record in your head, and like you like literally talk to yourself like you're replying to comment sections? Am I the only person that does that? Is this like a normal thing? Please let me know. Yeah, so Bakugan. If you don't know, Bakugan is many things. It's a franchise. It's a franchise. That's currently on its third reboot, I believe. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up with its series, so I'm not gonna judge. I don't on reboots. I don't mind reboots as long as they do something entirely new. And I know that's a hot take. Okay, a lot of people don't like reboots because they're new. Listen, I'm like a reformer, okay? I don't like doing the same old traditional shit over and over and over again. I think that I would have liked the Ben 10 reboot more, for example, if they didn't just do classic series but modern. Like, I think I would have rather them just do something completely different. Um, or just, get the fucking. Yeah, in terms of like the Bakugan reboot, I think Gen 2, it's a bit of a whiplash, but I think it does enough to distance itself from the original series, especially like as it goes on. Just the way it handles Baku evolutions and stuff, enough to sort of be entertaining, but I do think that the comedy can be a little bit too lowbrow. Then again, no, that's really not saying much, considering some of the jokes like the original Bakugan series relied on. I mean, come on, it's a mid 2000s anime. Obviously, there's misogynistic jokes in there. Anyway, yeah. So I never even finished. What is Bakugan? What am I yapping? What is bro yapping about? Well, first off, I'm not your bro, so fuck off. And second of all, I am your queen. You will address me as your queen. God, this is the most schizo fucking video I've done yet. I love how, like, the first two rant videos were, like, so structured, and then this one is just an absolute fucking shit show. Oh god, it's chaos and I love it. Yeah, so Bakugan is a animated series slash TCG that originated in Japan but was popularized in Canada, England, and the US. I don't think it really caught on most other places. I don't think. And basically, it's a bunch of plastic balls that you throw onto magnetic cards, and then they pop open, and and then after that, it's basically Yu-Gi-Oh! I think that's honestly the best. Like, a lot of people, for whatever reason, compare Bakugan to Pokemon, when I'd say it's actually a lot more like Yu-Gi-Oh! And, I think Yokai Watch came out, like, a little. Did Yokai Watch come out before Bakugan? I can't remember. But it's definitely quite like to Digimon. I'm actually surprised they never did a Digimon crossover. Then again, no, I haven't really watched any Digimon. No, tell a lie. I watched the Digimon series released in the 2010s. Oh god, what the fuck was it called? Like Digimon Adventures or something? With Shoutmon and Durulodon and the robot. I don't. And then they go fucking like kaiju at the end. I cannot remember it, honestly. It's batshit insane, but I used to enjoy it. I remember rewatching the series at least 3 times when I was younger. Yeah, that's a tangent. Yeah, so, I mean, I collect Bakugan now, but back in the day, I did not give a shit about the TCG. I really didn't. Like, I had a few Bakugan when I was a kid, but I think if I remember correctly, I had a Darkest Falconfly, oh, what's it fucking called? Hang on, I need to run through all the Dragonoids. Dragonoid, Delta Dragonoid. I can never remember. I think it's Ultimate Dragonoid, Infinity Dragonoid, Neo Dragonoid, Cross Dragonoid, Helix Dragonoid. That's it. Am I missing one? No. Helix Dragonoid. Yeah, I had a Helix Dragonoid and, like, I think it was an Aquas Hades and, like, a few others. No, it wouldn't have been Hades, because Hades was a show creation. I can't remember what it was called. Um, yeah, so I wasn't too into the TCG. I was way more into the show. Oh, just had to reposition because my back hurted. Um, yeah. So the show is split into 4 seasons, not counting the reboots. The classic show split into 4 seasons. You had Bakugan Battle Brawlers, Bakugan New Destroyer, Bakugan Gundalian Invaders, and Bakugan Mectanium Surge. Normally, well, outside of the first season, which had like one continuous story, the rest of the seasons are all split into sort of 2-part arcs. Honestly, hot take, I really don't remember that much about Battle Brawlers. I don't think it's as good as everybody makes out it is, okay? I'm sorry, man. Like, the fights are most of the episodes, and like, whilst I agree that the characterization is a lot stronger and more charming, like, than especially Gundalian Invaders and Mectanium Surge, but like, I just, the story 100% is a lot more coherent. And it feels bigger and grander. It really feels like a big adventure. I think the thing that bogs me down in Battle Brawlers, I mean, this isn't really supposed to be a review, I'm just sort of talking about it, but I think the thing that always bogs me down, really bothers me about Battle Brawlers, is 100% the filler. There's so much filler that I just can't really remember half the show. Like, it feels like half the show just doesn't need to happen. I mean, sure, some of the filler episodes, like, okay, here we go. I'll try and go through some episodes I remember. Obviously, the first episode, honestly, the first episode is actually one of my favorites from the entire series. Not, okay, season, I should say. Because technically, each one is a season, not a series. I'll correctly call it a season. Um, like, it's, I think that episode forever cemented Mantras as honestly one of my favorite Bakugan, and I don't know why. I just don't know. The way that, like, I think it's funny, right, that it's implied through later episodes that Dan literally was playing Bakugan for months up to that point and is literally one of the founding members. One of his friends is a Subterra brawler. And when Mantras comes out, oh, what is it he says? He says like some dumb shit like a Subterra monster? I've never seen one like that before. And it's like, what? Fucker, what? What are you going on about? What is blood yapping about? You literally have a friend. Well, I guess they weren't really friends at that point. I'm talking about Julie, if you don't know. Like, fucker, you have a friend. Or I guess not friend, acquaintance, who is a Subterra brawler. How the fuck don't you know what a Subterra Bakugan looks like? Like, what the fuck? Shun is one of the highlights of the series. I think it's so disappointing Shun never comes back. Like, in any series other than Battle Brawlers. I think maybe he makes a cameo appearance in New Destroyer, but that's it. Like, he got shafted so badly. Especially since, like... Okay. He has so much lore for a background character. Like, everybody seems to forget that he is a background character. He appears in, like, what, 5 episodes throughout the entire season? Like, because he appears in the first episode. He appears in the episode where Dan fights Masquerade for the first time. He appears in the episode where, like, where Dan kicks Akira's ass. He appears in the episode where they introduce his little sister, and then I think the last time you see him is in the finale. I think that's it. Like, other than maybe a few minor appearances, he doesn't appear that much. He is, by all extents of the imagination, a background character. So, tell me why the fuck he has so much lore? Like, sure, yeah, I get it, bully, little brother, but why does he have a little sister? And why the fuck do they keep bringing, like, it up? Like, they keep bringing it up, and, like, he actually has some level of characterization and lore as a background character, and I'm like, what? Why did you never bring him back? Oh my god, imagine, right, if they pulled the fucking Giga Chad move, and, like... Last episode, right, in Mactanium Surge, when, like, they're fighting Mactavius Destroyer on the island, like, they're getting their ass kicked, and then instead of Dragonoid Colossus shows up, but it rejects Drago, and they realize it's fucking Shun, no, not Shun, fucking... I literally just said his name, and I can't remember, Shuji. It's just fucking Shuji, his brother, and his sister, like, all grown up in in the fucking Dragonoid Destroyer who kick Mactavius Destroyer's ass. Oh my god, imagine that. Imagine how Giga Chad that would have been. I swear, the level of fan service, that would have been great. It would have been brilliant. We would have loved it. I would have probably coomed at least once. Oh god, yeah, another very memorable episode of mine. I really like the one where Dan and Shun fight. Not the one where it's like Drago versus Skyrus. Okay, I'll get to that later on with my problems in where I feel like is the series' weakest point and where it really lost me on every rewatch. But the episode where like you find out that Shun's mum is dying. And she dies. Like the episode where she dies on screen. Like, on screen, you watch the light leave her eyes, it's, like, dark as fuck. They would never get away with that in a kid show now. I mean, maybe they would. They still get away with some dark shit in kid shows, to be fair. I mean, Dan Schneider was allowed to exist for, like, well over, like, a decade. So, like, I think people whine way too much about this stupid, like, they won't get away with that in modern media. And it's like, fucker, shut up. They get away with loads of shit. You just don't want to look at it. Other than that, I really like that because I really like how it almost, I know it's unintentional, but it feels like a commentary on, like, what it's like when, like, a sort of decent player who's, like, decent at a game, but, like, doesn't take it that seriously, just sort of does it for fun. like encounters one of those really try hard players, like they're not even that good, but they just know one cheesy strategy that always works. You know the bit I'm talking about where Shun just keeps abusing the backdraft ability. Is it no, it's not. Is it blow away or is it backdraft? I can't. I think it's backdraft. And he just keeps abusing backdraft as an ability. Oh my god, that's great. I love that because like I've encountered people like that on Pokemon Showdown and I've done that myself, right? Some of my most memorable battles on Pokemon Showdown is where like, you know, because of RNG or something else, I've dropped down to like 1250 elo. You know, so like sort of like high low tier. And I just like get like a battle with an absolutely brain dead reject. And like I just troll them with switch stalling and they get like really pissed. Or my favorite is when like lower level people in Pokemon Showdown don't understand encore stalling and they don't realize that you could just swap out and you get rid of the encore and then you PP stall me out of encore and they just don't get that. So they just get like encore stalled out of all their PP for like their best move and they just soy rage. That's what Shun versus Dan, their first ever battle, reminds me of when he keeps doing the fucking backdraft shit. Um, Another pretty memorable episode, okay, now I don't like many of the evolution episodes. I think my least favorite one is Julie, and honestly, I get the thinking behind Masquerade's one, but I don't know. Like, I get that they're trying to do the Alice is fighting herself thing, you know, and that was sort of the lead up to the reveal. They were building it up, but I don't know, I feel like they could have done it in a better way. Like, okay, the reason why I don't like the Julie episode is because it kind of just feels like Shun's No, 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 sorry. I miss... The Julie episode is I. The Runo episode, I fucking hate that one. When Tigrera evolves into Blade Tigrera, I fucking hate it. Why? Because Shun's does the same thing, but so much better. I'm not joking. Like, it does the same idea, but so much better. And I think the reason why I also hate the Runo episode is because it really feels like... Listen, I know that kid shows like to do shipping and stuff like that, but have you ever thought that sometimes kid shows are just really heavy-handed? You know, like you get those anti-woke people on Twitter who get pissed off for like a gay couple existing in the Loud House, and they're like, "Oh my god, they're pushing it so hard, they're like forcing it on us, guys." You know, and like they're literally just exist. You know, like that. That's kind of what like a lot of anime and kids TV shows in the mid 2000s were like. You know, what I mean, I know a lot of my audience is roughly around my age or a little bit older, so like y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. You know, you know exactly what I mean. Like, they seem just obsessed with picking ships, and like, the Runo episode literally feels like such a watered down version of the Shun episode. If you can't remember the Shun episode, basically it's where Shun kind of gets put into like a memory dreamland, where he, if I remember correctly, he encounters like a kid version of himself with his mum, and like it's sort of an AU where his mum survived, and it's like really, really emotional because the battle isn't really about Shun winning. It's that like Shun has to overcome the grief and like self-blame from his mother dying and stuff, and it's like so good. It's so good, and I'm so glad they went there for a kid show. And then the Runo episode is like basically the same thing, but like, ooh woo, Runo has a crush on Dan. You know, and it's like, fuck her, shut up, man. Like, I don't care. Like, Runo X Dan is so forgotten about, they included it as fan service at the end of Mectanium Surge. It's a new Destroyer? Like, I don't get why they needed this episode to be like that. I think there are just so many other things. Runo, I think, okay, if I was to remake that episode and a lot of Runo's character arc, I think personally with something different, like sort of more nuanced identity issues, not like at least intended to be a tomboy. I think the episode really should have been an identity thing where she sort of fights, where she has, like, like an insecurity, right? Because for a lot of girls, you're sort of, maybe not so much in Britain, like, in Britain, this isn't really a thing. Like, in fact, if anything, you are called like a whore and a bitch for being a girly girl in Britain. Like, it's really fucked up. Um, but like, traditional sort of girly girl sort of type, and that's sort of pushed on you a lot in places like America, and I'm guessing a lot of places in Europe. Um, I'm sure it is. Well, I know it is, at least in America. I don't really know about the rest of Europe, but if anybody knows, put it in the comments down below, I guess. And I feel like having that nuanced thing where, like, Runo's a tomboy, yes, and she's confident to everybody else, but to herself, she kind of has this little lingering doubt in the back of her mind, like, am I just sort of being a disgrace? Am I, like, ugly? Should I just give up and put the dress on, sort of thing? And it's sort of like more of an episode about her being comfortable in her own skin and her own identity, and sort of confronting that part of herself, and getting to look at what sort of on what the expectations are, right? The expected version of herself. And in a Bakugan brawl, defeating the expectations and expected version of herself. And by the end of the episode, just, being able to finally say to herself, do you know what? I can rock a t-shirt and I don't give a shit what anybody else says anymore. And I feel like that would be a powerful message. Sure, it's done many, many times, but, like, I feel like at least be more, like, in line with Runo's character than Runo X Dan fanfiction, sort of thing. God, I'm trying to think. I mean, okay, the finale is epic as fuck. Like, okay, one of the moments I do, like, distinctly remember, but I don't remember in, like, great detail, is Dan and Masquerade teaming up. Gotta admit, that was pretty pog. Okay, I'm gonna pull the hot take here. Dan and Masquerade's final battle wasn't as epic as everybody else makes it out it is. I just don't think they'd really mastered the Bakugan banter yet. Like, I still firmly believe that even if Hydronoid is, like, very entertaining, Hydronoid, Hydronoid and Drago are like the diet version. Oh, they're just kind of the diet version of Helios and Drago. Like, Helios and Drago have way better and more overdramatic back and forths. And I love Hydronoid. Like, I really hate what they did to your boy, Hydronoid, in the episode where they bring him back in New Destroyer. Like, one of the parts of Hydronoid I liked the most was like that, like, masochistic, like, just pure, just psychotic nature. And the three heads, like, schizophrenically talking to each other is, like, some of the peakest comedy in all of fiction, and nobody will change that. I also think the design is... I think Alpha Hydronoid's design is unironically one of the best in the series. Mectavius Destroyer, I actually think, has a cool design as well. But for, like, a core out-and-out Bakugan, okay, I'm a... Okay, I could actually do a tier list of Bakugan like, by appearance, but I think I can't really choose a favorite. Mantras is unironically one of my favorite designs. I think... I think Stinglash is really, really ugly. Same with Saurus. I really don't like Saurus's design. I actually kind of like Griffin's design quite a lot, actually. Peter, the Bakugan is here. Hey, Peter. Hey, Peter. The horse is here. The fuck am I? Do you know what? I think we need to take a tea slurp break. I think we need that. Are y'all ready for the tea slurp? Come on, surely we can get a better one than that, right? Now that's better. Alright, so Alpha Hydroid, one of the peakest designs in the show. I think Max's Drago is pretty fucking ugly, but Max's Helios I actually really like. Okay, I know it's technically not a show appearance, but Leonidas and Vladitor are unironically, for real, so legit, so true, r/relatable, so fucking hot and sexy. Their designs are so good. I still am on the petition to make Leonidas and to make like okay. If there's any animators in the comment section and anybody who would actually want to work on this, like also VAs, I guess. I don't know. I don't really care if you're a VA or not. You can fucking do it anyway. I don't care, right? But here's my pitch. A reboot/remake from scratch of Bakugan Battle Brawlers, including Vladitor and Leonidas, alongside maybe some like fan Bakugan and like maybe even a couple of the new Destroyer Bakugan that like, you know, were supposedly from Destroyer but weren't included. You know, hey, maybe Nemesis pre-evolution. Yeah, that'd be cool actually. You know, basically just a complete remake, like, from scratch of the entirety of Bakugan Battle Brawlers, but not just, like, redubbing it and reanimating it, like, literally just making an entire fan series that's kind of like Bakugan Battle Brawlers, but if it was made by the fans. If anybody would actually want to work on that, I would actually be down for that. Like, legit, I would actually be down for that. That'd be so sick. Like, you know, my boy Leonidas, he's just, oh, Leonidas, Leonidas, get inside my body, Don't ask what that was. Yeah, I don't even know where I'm fucking going with this. Okay, Spectra, way better villain than Masquerade. Masquerade is like, I'm sorry, I'm a Spectra stan, and no, it's not just because he's sexy as fuck, okay? It's not just because he's sexy as fuck, okay? Listen, when he takes the mask and, like, the stupid clothes off, he's actually kind of hot, okay? I'd hit that, okay? I may be asexual, but damn would I maybe have a touch and a feel, and maybe I'd like shampoo him. You know. I can't even remember what Spectra's real name is. It's like Ken or something like that. K? No, I can't remember. Quiche. Keith. No, it's Keith. Yeah, I would absolutely date Keith. He is sexy as fuck. He's a sexy motherfucker. It's not just because of that, okay? Like, Alice is a better, well, not a better character, but like, you know, I'll get to Alice. I'll fucking get to Alice, don't worry. You know, but I think Masquerade sure is kind of charismatic, but the thing that I think Masquerade fails in is intimidation factor. And they do so well with it in, like, the first half, like, but I think once you get to the point where he's sending lackeys out to do his like hard work, he kind of just becomes an average cartoon villain to me. Like he loses any like the moment we have to wait fucking ages for Masquerade to like, we have to wait all the way up to fucking Delta Dragonoid. Way after Delta Dragonoid is evolved to get Dan versus Masquerade a second time and to even see Masquerade like properly battling. Like the problem is, I feel like Masquerade just kind of loses the fear factor when he does fuck all for half the series. I don't know if that's like. I mean, I know for a fact that's a hot take. I just feel like Spectre is way more intimidating. He does like the intimidating badass, like full like bad boy villain so much better. I just love him. And Helios, okay, I know Hydronoid is like definitely the better Bakugan by personality, since Helios is very one-dimensional, but Helios's entire character arc and like Helios's battle slash interactions with Drago are genuinely peak fiction, and nobody will convince me otherwise. Like I could sit there rewatching Dan versus Drago like every day of the mole fucking week, okay? Like, I hit that shit, okay? That shit is my peace. It is my passion. It is my dream blunt rotation. And then Alice. Alice, if you don't know, is Masquerade. I think I can spoil the twist for that. The show is like fuck tons of years old now, and you can literally watch it for free on YouTube. Like you should really know who Alice is. Or at the very least, you should know the twist. Like, yeah, Alice, like, she's a cool character. My problem with Alice is she's very one-dimensional and she doesn't appear enough. I think a lot of my problems with Alice is 100%. It feels like she should have been a lot more three-dimensional than she was, but they kind of do it too late. They wait until the twist with Masquerade into making her an interesting character, and I think everybody forgets that. Like, really, every other appearance she makes throughout the series is literally just her being, like, the sweetest, gentlest, kindest soul imaginable, and kind of a sort of mentor figure. Or at least as close to a mentor figure as the brawlers get. And I guess sort of like, if you really had to like go into the group dynamic sociology, I guess kind of the closest they get to a sort of mother figure. Like, but after, okay, Alice before the twist, other than like, sure, yeah, she's a likable character and I like her, but I wouldn't say she's a good character. She's just one-dimensional and she kind of does and says the same thing over and over again in different ways. Alice, after the twist, peak fiction, I fucking love her, and she got fucking shafted by New Destroyer. She got absolutely shafted in that series for appearances. And even then, right? Why the fuck did she not appear in Mectanium Surge? I kind of get it for Gundalian Invaders, even if I'm kind of butthurt over it. But, I'm sorry, why the fuck did she not ever appear in Mectanium Surge? You would think that with the interspace and stuff like that, like, she would give, like, one shit about it. Maybe you could even do a thing where, like, she's sort of, where she's, like, where she tricks people, like, into, like, thinking she's Masquerade, but, like, like, Dan and Nat get worried when Masquerade saved their ass from Wise Man, but then Alice reveals that she was just doing it for shits and giggles and, like, and just kicked ass herself. That would at least have been a good cameo for her. I just feel like she got shafted so badly. Like, the moment they made her a genuinely interesting and likable character with three-dimensional properties, they just throw her away to the dogs. And that's just bullshit. Okay, if we're rolling with the hot takes, I think Mectanium Surge Arc 1 is the worst part of Bakugan. Sue me. Okay, I hear all these fucking bloods and yappers on the intranet, and they're fucking going on and on and on and on about, like, how Mectanium Surge Arc 1 is actually pretty decent. You should just give it a try, but ignore Arc 2. And it's like, fucker, I can't even remember who the fucking villain is in Arc 1, and I've rewatched Arc 1 at least twice, and it bores me. Okay? It bores me. Like, I know it has something to do with Gundalian invaders, and, like, isn't the Bakugan supposed to be, like, Darak, but, like, more corrupted and evil now? I will admit that Bakugan has a sick-ass fucking design, and fucking Gilgamesh, or whatever the fuck his name was, they have sick designs, and I really like. The VAs do a great job with them. But I'ma just say it, the actual arc itself is boring, it's predictable, the characters are unlikable, the entire Titanium Dragonoid thing just feels like it comes out of fucking nowhere. Like, especially since we see Titanium Dragonoid controlling his powers in the end of Gundalian Invaders, as well as watching him, like, or at least getting it implied that Titanium Dragonoid was able to control his powers, like, most of the time. Bearing in mind, Drago's been through fuck tons of evolutions, and the evolution into Titanium Dragonoid was not that much different than the others. Like, I'm sorry, but it just makes no sense. Marucho's new Bakugan in Arc 1, honestly, I want to fucking behead it, I want to kill it, I want to decapitate it. I want to hang its penis on my wall and burn it with a blowtorch when I wake up every morning. Like, I just don't like Arc 1 of Mectanium Surge. I think it's just really shit. I would rather watch Bakugan Gen 3 than I would watch Mectanium Surge Arc 1. Like, I've seen some clips from Gen 3, and honestly, the two are not that far apart. I think the battles are unironically better in Gen 3, and that would carry me through. Arc 2 of Mectanium Surge beforehand, I really like. I think Arc 2 of Mectanium Surge is genuinely even better than Gundalian Invaders. Bearing in mind, I actually don't like, it's my least favourite season of the show overall. But I actually kind of like the story it tells, at least from a conceptual standpoint. Like, if it focused less on the stupid war bullshit and focused a lot more on the 12 orders, then I actually probably would have ranked it above Mectanium Surge. But I think, it's just the main thing of the battles are way toned down. I feel like Ren just, he's a good character conceptually, but I don't think they execute him like nearly as well as they needed to. Like, the 12 orders and like whatever the fuck is going on with Darak and Barodius are unironically some of the best character interactions in the whole show. Like, I do think they do the Vestals thing way better. And I think it's even better now that we have the context of fucking Game of Thrones, because rewatch Gundalian Invaders after, like, even just, like, hearing a plot summary of Game of Thrones and tell me you don't see the similarities. Like, Gundalian Invaders is not bad. Mectanium Surge Arc 1, way fucking worse, but Mectanium Surge Arc 2, Mectavius Destroyer, unironically, I actually think is a better villain than Hydronoid. I would not say that Mectavius Destroyer is a better Bakugan. Hydronoid has a better design and I would say, like, is more memorable, but Mectavius Destroyer 100%, like, just nails it, right? Intimidating villain, great arc, great characterization, good strong lore and backstory. Like, Mectavius Destroyer is basically Megatron, but for Bakugan, and it works so well if you're willing to suspend your disbelief. Like, I feel like your enjoyment of Mectavius Destroyer as a character really does hinge on how much do you hate Mectagon as a gimmick. Like, I don't mind Mechagon as a gimmick, personally. Like, I think a lot of the gimmicks in Bakugan I'm very sort of neutral to. I don't really hate any of them, but I wouldn't exactly say any of them, like, add that much. Like, they're kind of like, you know, when you get, like, a DLC, that, like, one of those free DLCs that doesn't really add much, and you barely notice it's there, but it's still appreciated that you got a free DLC. They're sort of like that for me. Like, also I think the, like, fusion gimmick, unironically, is way better than whatever the fuck Arc 1 was cooking. I think Arc 1 could have been better if they had the fusion gimmick all throughout Mectanium Surge. Just saying. Um, I so that's like a lot of my views on the show. In terms of the TCG, currently I'm collecting. Recently I got a B2 Preyas, Aquas Preyas, and Preyas Diablo. So that's exciting. No, not Diablo, sorry. I got the B2 versions though. Fuck, am I forking out 180 quid on eBay for a B1 Preyas? I don't know, maybe next month. Maybe next month. Um, I have a lot. I have some Japanese. I have a Japanese exclusive Dragonoid that is probably my most prized possession right now in terms of Bakugan. I do play the TCG sometimes, like with my family. I taught them all how to play my home rule set, which is basically the, like, original Battle Brawlers rule set, but then I've just sort of edited it slightly to make it more close to what the show does, because I unironically prefer the show's rules to the TCG's rules. But that's it, basically. Um, Although there is another element of Bakugan that I didn't talk about yet, and it's the games. We have two of them. Champions of Destroyer doesn't exist, it can't hurt us. Champions of Destroyer doesn't exist, it cannot hurt us. Champions of Destroyer cannot exist, it doesn't hurt us. The games, okay, Bakugan Battle Brawlers fucking peak. It's actually the game that started my channel. I am gonna play through it again soon. I'm probably gonna play through, like, a Wii emulated version of it. Yeah. And it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna hopefully get through the entire game this time. Hopefully. Yeah, I'm gonna hopefully get through the entire game this time, and we're gonna be bussin'. Yeah, I hope to do, like, more Bakugan content in general. There's a lot of Bakugan stuff coming out. Baku Project, Bloxugan. There's a lot of cool Bakugan games coming out. Bakugan Battle Brawlers, I think it's not like a fucking Halo 3 or anything. It's not ever gonna go down as the best game in history, but, like, in terms of licensed games, it's definitely up there for one of the best. Okay, unironically, I really like Protectors of the Core. Sure, it's not the best designed games, like, it's pretty simple, there's not the most amount of content, and the story is wiggity whack. But I remember having a lot of fun times, especially in, like, the PvP brawler mode. I used to fuck with that shit. Like, I remember playing, like, free-for-alls with, like, my siblings on that a few times, and those were good times. And I actually think the story is actually unironically pretty decent. I like the way that it does genuinely feel like, it's weird, right? I don't get why they went with an alternative universe version of New Destroyer, but I'm here for it. Like, sure, setting the entire game on Earth, maybe not the most creative thing they could have done, but, like, I think they pull it off pretty well. Like, I think, okay, if I was to make a dream New Destroyer game, I would have it be like an open world, like Elden Ring style game, where when you start it off, right, you know, like Pokemon Legends Arceus, you sort of do that, like, sort of character design where, like, you get asked questions and then you type in, so you describe your character, and then the game will, like, mix around assets to try and create what you've described. I think that would be really cool. You know, it's like, it will ask you questions like, do you remember having any facial hair? You know, and then if you answer yes, it will ask you what kind of facial hair do you remember? You know, and then after you've answered the questions, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon style, the game will just, like, create and generate a character based precisely on your descriptions, and then, you know, if you want, you can regenerate it, or you can just, like, edit your answers to certain questions to get different generations. You know, I feel like that'd be an interesting way of character customization. I feel like that's a way you could get around the, like, genuine Dark Soul Elden Ring sort of comparisons. You know, and I think it would just be unique, right? It would feel a lot more Bakugan. And then I think it would be really cool if, you know, like that MMO that Bakugan used to have. I can't remember what it's called, but, like, you know that. Like, I think it would be really cool if you had the opportunity to start out with, like, whatever Bakugan you wanted. You know, so you got to choose your partner Bakugan. Like, you could do it Mystery Dungeon style and, like, have to answer another quiz, but, like, I feel like if you're already answering a quiz to decide the character's appearance, like, why would you then do the same thing again? Like, that just seems tedious. You know, you just choose from, like, you know, a pre-selected, like, 10 Bakugan from every attribute or something to be your partner Bakugan. You know, maybe if you, like, for a new game plus, you can pick, like, all the Guardian Bakugan and, like, you know, including Leonidas, but Leonidas is, like, oh no, that'd be cool, like, including Leonidas, and then, like, as Easter egg characters, like, if you get, like, a certain amount of collectibles, you can get Naga and Wyvern, and, like, all three of them go in the attribute neutral category. That would be sick as fuck. Um, yeah, you know, and then, like, it would be just, like, an open world, like, Elden Ring Bakugan game, where, like, you know, you're in Vestroya, and, like, you're not really a part of the Resistance, and the Resistance is still following the show's continuity. You kind of just do whatever the fuck. You will fight the Resistance at points, but you will, you know, and then, like, have multiple endings and stuff, so maybe there's an ending where, like, you do, like, the true evil ending, where you, like, manage to be and, like, maybe I don't, for a kids game, maybe you can't go as far as literally killing off the Resistance and the Vexels, but, you know, effectively destroying their, like, I don't know, maybe just stealing all their Bakugan or something. You know, and, like, taking down the Vestals and the Resistance, but instead of using that power for good, instead you, like, use it to take control of the, like, perfect core and therefore rule over all of Vestroya with an iron fist. You know, and that'd be, like, the true evil ending, and, like, fucking, like, Sans Undertale style. Drago will go, like, motherfucker, you wanna try and do this? Come at me, bitch. You know, and then he, like, you know, reabsorbs the perfect core, and then you have to fight Infinity Dragonoid as, like, an Easter egg boss fight. That would be cool. You know, and then, like, if you beat him on, like, if you beat Infinity Dragonoid on the hardest difficulty, then, like, you can actually play with him on New Game Plus as your Bakugan. You know, like, stuff like that, you know, and the whole game would sort of be, like, a mixture between Pokemon Colosseum and, well, Elden Ring. You know, Elden Ring sort of in structure, but, like, more Pokemon Colosseum in execution. You know, where, like, yeah, I don't know, I can't be bothered to get into it, I'm honestly pretty tired, I've been ranting for about an hour, so I'm gonna start sort of closing off now, like, if you can't tell, since I've been autistically ranting about Bakugan for a while now, nearly an hour, it's one of my favourite series. Like, I don't know where I'd be right now if I did not discover this series. My favourite character? That's a tough one. It's not Dan. Dan is a fucking dickhead. Dan can go fuck himself. I think, as for my favourite character, it does have to go between Spectra and... I think it goes between Spectra and probably Runo. I don't know. I think it is Runo. Julie, I find really insufferable. Alice, I think, gets a glow up, but they never do anything with it. Runo, I just do really like Runo. Like, I can't really say anything that I specifically don't like about her character. Like, there's things that I personally, as a writer, would have done differently, and maybe things that I think could be improved, but I wouldn't say there's anything I actively dislike about her character. Yeah, I think my favourite characters would be like Spectra, Runo, and probably Marucho. I actually really like Marucho. I think he's a very underrated character. And yes, I did only just learn that Marucho is a boy, not a girl, like 2 years ago. Just thought I'd let that sink in. Um, Other than that, okay, what's my favorite battle in the whole series? That's tough. Obviously, as much as I'd love to say it's the final battle between Mectavia's Destroyer and Dragonoid Destroyer, it's a good battle. It's intense as fuck, but I feel like it's a great finale and it's bombastic and it's up there for my favorite fights. But I think for fights that I genuinely like have more of a connection to, I think it's tied between like the battle Dan and Spectra have in that little coliseum where Dan loses Drago to Spectra. And I only remember it and I love it so distinctly because I remember watching a really good MV where somebody like put this like really epic fucking like emo metal song over it and like it just hit so fucking hard. Um it's tied between that one and Infinity Dragonoid versus Naga, I think. With that being said, I think I'm gonna end off this rant video here. Hope y'all have enjoyed it. I don't know when I'm next gonna do one of these. Next time I do one of these, it might be about Pokemon, or it might just be sort of a more general rant about the world and specifically England's situation right now. Because honestly, it ain't looking too good for us queer folk right now in England. I'm not gonna lie. But I won't get into it. This is the end of the video. I don't want to talk anymore. Fuck off. Bye.